Hey guys, Lawrence here, and amazingly nothing got stolen while I was away getting my rubbish post. That's because I got a new security camera system, and in this video I'm going to tell you all about it. So this is the one I picked up. It's the Eufy Security System by Anker. The main reason I bought this is this little label right here. Free, no monthly fee. So many systems and, well, basically everything is a service. And I hate monthly payments for something I own. So that's why I got this one, because there is no monthly payment. Of course, this is sold by Anker. Anker, you know them from the battery banks. I've had this one for ages, still works perfectly fine. So that gave me some trust in the batteries in here, because while it says it has 365 days of battery life with an asterisk, batteries do degrade over time, and it would be a shame for your cameras to go out of service. You know, these things don't exactly look very repairable. It would be a shame for these to go out of service because the batteries degrade. So hopefully that won't be a problem. And even if you only get like 100 charge cycles, if each cycle lasts you a year, you're probably going to be good. Now, I have the Eufy Cam Pro, so there are different models of cameras and they all communicate with a home base, a little bit similar to like a Philips Hue home base, or basically this thing's just a router or a wireless access point modem sort of thing. Inside the box, you won't find a whole lot actually, but there is a quick start guide. It has a SIM tool remover. I have no idea what you use this for. Probably to reset the cameras, but I haven't had to use it. And there is a manual in here, which comes in a bunch of different languages, which is always a good one. So if you want to see how you do this in German, here you go. The first type of mounting bracket is one that is screwed into the wall using two bolts. You get plugs and bolts with them, and you actually get twice as many as you need, so that's awesome. And this is very securely connected to your wall. You then have this little thing with a rubber on here that clicks into here, and then next up you have the camera, which is on this little swivelly ball cup, and it is threaded in at the back. So this is using a screw to mount the camera, and so you screw the plastic to the wall and then you screw your camera on top of the first little screw that you were using. But there is also a second way of mounting this. The second mount for this camera is a lot easier to use because it's one screw and then this little block slides in between here. So you just lock this onto your wall, and then this is magnetic and holds your camera in place just like that. It works perfectly fine. It is quite sturdy, but for outdoor use, I would probably still use the screw to attach everything. Now that you know how you actually mount the camera, let's talk about the camera. On the side, you just get the brand name. This is really handy in case someone wants to rob you and they want to shut down your alarm system. This tells them exactly what alarm system you're using. Great. On the back is a sync button. This is used to connect the camera up to the home base that I'll show in just a bit. There's a waterproofed, or at least water-resistant mini USB charge port, and then of course the thread in case you want to solid mount it instead of using the magnet mount. On the bottom is a little grill. This is for sounding the alarm if it detects movement or if the camera gets stolen, because there is a motion sensor in this to, you know, make sure your cameras don't get stolen. And then there's also a microphone so you can communicate with the people trying to rob you. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The way it works, actually simple yet genius. So you know how your outdoor lights will only turn on when somebody walks by? This is basically exactly the same. You get a motion sensor here in the bottom, and if it detects motion, that's when it turns on the camera and it starts filming. You then have a detection light, so this will glow red, and this one will glow blue if you want to actually turn it on. I prefer to have everything turned off except for the alarm, because once they're in, you might as well give them a little scare, I guess. Very important to note that there is a home base 1 and a home base 2, and the 2 is actually, in my opinion, a downgrade on the home base 1. On the front you get a little notification light. It should glow blue when it's working, red when it's not working. On the bottom big speaker grill, because it will actually give you very good audio feedback whenever you are setting stuff up. It will actually talk to you through this grill, so it's pretty cool. More grillage on the rear. Maybe there's a speaker in there as well. I haven't opened it. And then in the back you have your power in, a USB port for charging your cameras. You can't put a USB stick in and expand the memory on here. You can't use the USB stick to copy your files to the USB stick that way. And then you have a 100 megabit Ethernet connection, along with, again, this little sync and alarm off button and that little reset button that the metal pin is used for. Hopefully this gives you a good idea of size, right next to a keyboard here. Interestingly, this thing sets up its own 2.4 gigahertz network. It's basically Wi-Fi with a hidden network sort of setup, which is a good idea to separate this from your main Ethernet, because I guess when I'm breaking into a house, I would go for their electricity first, and that's of course covered by the battery operated cameras, and their Ethernet or internet, wireless, all those networking systems second, because that's how you can stop the communications reaching whoever's house you're breaching. So having a separate network is good. But unlike the Homebase one, which had a backup battery and expandable storage, this one does not. So if the power goes down to this, it's off. And this video files just get buffered on the cameras and then get sent back later. So that's a bit of a problem, because if your cameras get stolen while the electricity is off, your footage is gone. So that's just an interesting one to keep in mind. However, due to the size of this thing, it is pretty easy to hide it somewhere. However, I would personally have preferred to power it with power over Ethernet, just to make hiding it somewhere even easier. In my opinion, one of the most annoying cons is this thing, your smartphone. You see, the software only works with Android and iOS. So if you want to use your PC or your laptop or anything that has the ability to work quickly and efficiently, you're out of luck with this one, because there's just no support. There's no web interface or portal to get into the setting menu, for example, to get your files from the home base onto your computer. It's just not possible. You have to use a phone. And for me, that is the main downside. Now, Eufy advertises RTSP to get video from your cameras onto your NAS. That's a whole lot of bullshit. Basically, all you can do, if you can figure out how to get it to work, is you can stream video from those cameras to your NAS. If you have a Synology, you can use the built-in surveillance station software, or if you have the DIY NAS, you can use that. QNAP has a software for it as well. But you can't just copy files back and forward to your NAS the easy way, the old-fashioned way. It's so stupid, and I feel like it's kind of false advertising, because using that streaming functionality will destroy your battery life on the cameras, plus the image quality just isn't good. Alright, so enough raging about the lack of computer support. Let's actually get into the app. This is the main app overview, where you can see your cameras. As you can see, I have 3 cameras, one for my garage, one for my car and backyard, and of course one for the front door and the cars in front. Now, per camera, you have a bunch of settings. As you can see, I have the Eufy Cam Pro, and I can see my camera is on, my status LED is off, night vision is on, anti-theft, so that's an annoying noise it makes when it's moving, that's on. My watermark is set to just the timestamp without the advertising. Motion detection is just normal, humans only, except for at night when it will detect just about anything. Quick thumbs up here because I haven't had any false positives waking me up at night, so that's good. You can set your power management as well. You can set your video quality. Obviously, the Pro model will give you 2K video quality, and you can also set your streaming quality, but again, this will be horrible for your connection and your battery life. So I just leave that on auto. The NAS RTSP that I was talking about is just a joke. First of all, setting a static IP and stuff, that's basic. Everyone should know how to do that. But then you have to just do this and wait, and it gives you, well, a failed notification. So that just about shows how usable this is. Normally it gives you a URL that you can use with VLC, for example, but it's absolutely useless. You also have a few audio settings, so I have the speaker disabled for my front area, just so that if I do get a false positive, the alarm isn't, waking up everyone down the street, for example. But that's basically it for your camera settings. If you go into your camera settings, I have my backyard settings where I was filming some B-roll earlier. I can click this and I can see a human was detected, but unlike the original model, it can no longer detect which human because they removed the AI chip. And here you can see me walking around with my camera and tripod. Very handy. Also, that's basically it. You have to go into your settings to see a battery percentage, but when it's near completely full, it won't show you a percentage. It's super annoying. And then you can see your events. So for me, that is, oh, we saw a human doing stuff. Motion was detected, that sort of stuff. And then you have your security modes. By far the most interesting. Best thing to do is set it to a geofencing mode if you are living alone like I am, so that when I'm home, all the cameras are always off. So I have to go into this, which is me moving the camera around. And then I can go to download, share, donate. What the hell does this even do? Giving Eufy full permission to use this clip? No. And then you can, of course, delete it as well. The interesting one here is download, but I'm going to show you a quick test in just a bit where I tried to break into my own house while this system is up and running. All right, guys, I turned on the alarm. I'm now hiding behind my van because this side is completely blind to the cameras. So I'm going to go into my bike shed and see if I can get out of here with a bike without getting detected, because that's kind of the whole reason I bought this thing. We just sent off the first one. Let's reset. So say I got to sneak all the way up to here, where I'm again out of view of that second camera, because we have the front door camera. This is now the backyard camera that detected me. Let's see if I can get into my bike shed without the one behind me going off and the one in front of me going off. No alarm yet? Damn it, we got detected. So far it's been working really well. Let's try this again when it's dark outside. No talking or alarms going off this time with the night test, because, well, neighbors exist and I don't want to scare them with alarms going off at night. The cameras worked very well. As you saw, it took a little bit of time to switch from daylight mode to nighttime mode on the backyard camera, but it did detect me and it gave me pretty decent image quality, along with an instant notification on both my phone and my smartwatch, so I knew I was detected. The same went for the garage. I got detected basically right away, and again, the image quality is good enough to make out at least the body shape of the person trying to rob you. So I guess that means it's good enough. I'm really happy with my purchase, although I would really like to have some sort of option to manage the system from a browser, because this is the Pro model, and it would also really help if we could bulk export and back up the footage that these cameras record. For now, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.